Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. We're here with the VDUB Enduro Cup for round 6. And I don't know if I'm having internet issues. Seems a bit jumpy. We'll stick with it. We'll hope for our best. I know I've got one kid up there using half a dozen devices. But there we see them coming around. Round 6 is at Bathurst, the famous Australian track. And it's a humdinger. We're watching Uncle B Darren in practice at the moment, making his way around. And well, to say this championship is very heavy on fuel saving. Their fuel and tyres are on times 5. They have to do some heavy fuel saving in this championship. It's going to be a struggle here, I think, because obviously we've got the 2 very long straights here with Conrod Straight and the Mountain Straight. So how they're going to actually do some fuel saving is beyond me. And there we see a Web Smurfer, our American friend, making his way around. And we should have a very interesting championship. Well, talk about championships, I should tell you the table. We're only 4 minutes away. We've got something a little different planned this evening with the news of the passing of the legend that is Sir Frank Williams. I'm sorry if you're just hearing this. It's happened. But yes, the cars are going to line up on the grids, and we're going to have ourselves a minute's silence before qualifying. So I'll get through the table pretty quick. Do you know what? It's just dawned on me. I didn't do a driver's brief this morning. So they're all out there. They didn't even know what track it is, unfortunately. I'm sorry, guys. I shall endeavour to do better. So, top of the table is Matt Psycho on 80 points. Then we have Digital Blasphemy in second on 77 points. And this being round 6, this is only 3 more rounds to go. It could be anyone's championship. Skyjacker is third on 66 points. Then Shiren in fourth on 52 points. Daz fifth on 49 points. Uncle B is 6th on 42 points. Koikar 7th on 40 points. Electric is 8th on 38. I think that's 38. No, that's 28. Sorry. My picture's a bit blurry. 8th is Electric on 28 points. Just ahead of Ranger, who's in 9th on 27 points. Then Catula in 10th on 26 points. We have Racer Brown in 11th on 20 points. JOO Pace is 12th on 14 points. Joker's 13th on 13 points. 14th is Turtle with 12 points. And Rido is 15th on 12 points also. Web Smurfer 16th on 10 points. And Rivixter 17th on 4 points. So there could be some major shuffling in the table today. And we've already been asked if we are ready. So let me, without further ado, say I am ready. Remember, they're going to go and line up for a minute's silence in, for the news of the passing of Sir Frank Williams. I have a whiskey here in front of me to commemorate the man himself. A little short sip as we remember one of the greatest men in motorsports. Oh, as we started. There you go. Yes. A man, a legend. Jim in the chat saying legends of motorsport, RIP Sir Frank. Skyjacker also saying RIP Sir Frank. As motorsport fans and sim racers alike, we all know of Frank Williams and his legend that he spent his whole life creating with such great world champions he's produced. I believe I couldn't go through all of them. Nigel Mansell, Alan Jones, Damon Hill, Jacques Villeneuve. I couldn't name all of them. I really couldn't. There is a fair few. KK Rosberg, I believe. And any I've missed off, I do apologise. I want to say Nelson Piquet, but I'm not sure. I know he was Mansell's teammate. Damon Hill, obviously, one that bears in my mind strongest. In the 96 championship, Jacques Villeneuve, 97, that was my era. I started watching Formula One around 92, 93. Obviously, Mansell winning, but I wasn't paying that close attention to it. In the early days, there's a glitch then, so I think everyone will be asked to exit out. Digital Blasphemy, he's got a different livery today for this one. And he's spinning around in the pit lane. So I would imagine Skyjacker will ask all to quit out. Mama Sykes is in the chat saying hi everyone. Hi Thingy, Rizzler the Roller, saying that's when I was born, lol. Yeah, Rizzler. I was sat down watching F1 then when you were born. Unbelievable stuff. So yeah, Skyjacker has asked to exit. Red X guys, get it out there. And we see Web Smurfer, he's totally left the room. And we'll wait for Web Smurfer to nip back in, I'm sure. Then they will re-enter. He's joined the room again. And we'll see them re-enter. And I'm sure qualifying will start again pretty soon. We've not had glitches for a while, but that might be because I'm doing replays a lot lately. So I don't have to endure these moments of server madness by the GT Sports crew. We see there Matt Psycho, sorry. Real naming him on the stream, terrible. So yeah, Matt Psycho out there. He's got himself a Williams. He's added to the side of his car, all over the car really. I can see Williams racing at the back in respect to the passing. Qualifiers, we've got 15 minutes of qualifying here before an hour's race here at Bathurst. Fantastic track, really is a great track here. I don't know if these guys will agree at the moment, whilst they're having to do some fuel saving in these Beetles, sorry, look at me, I'm all of a t'other. It's the news, it's been the news. And Web Smurfer, has everyone else got out? Koi Carp out, haven't seen Rivets to move yet. Uncle B's not moved yet. Oh, and Digi is struggling there. Digi struggling. Is he just going to sit out qualifying and start from the back? Possibly. He seems to be resting at the moment. No one's questioned. There is Mr. Psycho out there, first on track to try and get that time in for the all-important pole position. And Electric out there in his lovely, fabulous blue on blue livery. Looking rather splendid in his Beetle. And Sharon, look at him struggling. They're down there in the S's, is it? The Dipper. It's a struggle, and Digital Blasphemy is saying glitch. I don't know how many times we can quit out and quit back in again, though. So he might have to wait until the end of quali. Unfortunately, it's a real shame. It's to be said. It's always one, isn't there? There's always one. So Matt Psycho, he's just coming around to start his flying lap. He's coming up towards the line. See if we can get on board for Hell's Corner. Corner 1. As he goes through, heavy on the brakes, down to third gear. Just touching the curb, a little wiggle there. You see him trying to correct the car on his wheel. Then we're up Mountain Straight towards Griffin's Bend. Another one, you're building up the speed. You're building up the speed. And then there you go, fourth. He's got a good speed through there. Just touching that curb on the outside. Heading towards the cutting. And this one really kills the speed at the end here to your left-hander. And then nipping it right, quite a speedy right. Building up pace, little lift to go right again, then a left. And it's all uphill. Then we're going to dip down a little bit. Going fast left, then another very fast left. We see cars going out wide a lot in this corner. Not Matt Psycho though, he's got that all sorted out. Heavy on the braking into the S's. Skyline, then the S's, then the dipper, and then we're into Forest Elbow now, and then a nice long straight, Conrad Straight, where he can really open up his Beetle, build up some pace as he heads down towards the chase. He's up into 7th gear, screaming up the revs, building up to about 177 miles an hour. He's got there, 78. Heavy on the brakes for the chase. There he goes around to finish the lap on Murray's Corner. As he heads towards it, braking just past the 100-meter marker there in his Beetle around Murray's. And then crossing the line to get himself a 1:59. Putting him on provisional pole for now. Skyjacker going 8/10 slower. Electric doing a 2:02, getting third spot. Shiren just coming around the final corner. And he crosses the line for third there for Shiren, just pipping Electric by 1.8 seconds. Koikar next on track, but it looks like he may have had a small off there. And Web Smurfer catching up with him. And there we see Koikar coming around that final corner to post a 2:14. He's getting out of the way of Web Smurfer, it looks like. Web Smurfer getting a 2-minuter. He's up there in third place for Web Smurfer. Digital Blasphemy is left. He's going to try and reset everything and come back in. Then we've got Rivixter crossing the line. And he's just pipped a Koikar. And Uncle B has gone fast enough for 4th place. They're all around that 2-minute mark, but Matt Psycho sitting there. He's nearly a minute. Sorry, not a minute. Yeah, nearly a minute faster than these guys down here. No, a second. Sorry, not a minute. Freaking hell, that'd be a 3-minuter. So Uncle B is just a second. Sorry. Slower than Matt Psycho. He's getting purples, and now though Matt Psycho is going to be the next man to cross the line though as he goes towards the chase. Pat in the chat saying it's the S's that twiddly bit down the mountain. Very creative Australian name. Well, it could have been worse. We know what the Aussies vocabulary's like. Could have been the blooming S's. And there goes Matt Psycho. Does he beat his first time? He does. He gets it into a 58.6. Skyjacker next to come towards that final corner. And what can he do? Electric's already crossed the line with a 2:01. That's better than he's gone. Stays in 6th, and no. Skyjacker does not beat his time. Here comes Shiren. He beats his time but stays in 5th place. Oh, we're having to guess now who's next. Koi? No, I think Koi let Web Smurfer through. And Web Smurfer, it looks like he's had a bit of an off, so he's not going to be able to beat his time this time around. Koi just coming up to the final corner. And he had a rough lap. The first lap is definitely going to go faster, but where on the grid is it going to place him? It's gone 2:04. He's gone ahead of Rivixter. So where is that? Riv's coming up to the final corner. It's looking strong as he goes through that final corner. And can he get himself up the grid a little bit more? He does better his time, but stays there in 8th place. Uncle B is the man we've got to keep an eye on. He's just coming up to that final corner now. He had purples earlier in his lap. No, he's had an off. It's 2:19 already, so he's not going to go any faster this lap. Is Uncle B, and already you can see 2 laps in, they've used nearly half a tank of fuel. So Matt Psycho at the moment untouchable by a second. Skyjacker, the closest competitor to him, but he's over 1.2 seconds down on Matt Psycho's fastest. He's 3/10, nearly 4/10 faster this lap as he heads up. Electric, though, he's coming around the final part of the lap. Matt Psycho 1:58.2, going even faster. Even faster. Electric slinging it into that final corner. Very nice. A bit of a wiggle on as he comes out. Did he lose much time from that? And he doesn't go faster. Skyjacker puts it into the pits. Decides a top-up is what's needed. And a Web Smurfer looks like he's had a knock with a wall somewhere around there. Shiren, can he go any faster? It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's lost time in this run. And they are struggling here. Green for Coy. We saw last lap he put himself ahead of Rivixter as he comes around the chase down towards Murray's corner. Heavy on the brakes. Throws it to the left. Heads for that line. Digital Blast Me, he must have reset everything. He's come back in and Koikab crosses the line. He does go faster, but he's still 2.8 seconds shy of Electric's time. Still some more time to find in that Beetle. Matt Psycho, he's got the pole. Maybe he's now just practicing a little bit of fuel saving, because doesn't seem to have used a lot of fuel up on this lap. Skyjacker back out. Ooh, he's had a little knock with the wall. That doesn't help, but it's an out lap, so it's not too bad. Web Smurfer, 3rd fastest. Oh, I say 3rd fastest, but Uncle B Darren has just put it within half a second of Matt Psycho. So Uncle B didn't have too great a race last time around. And he's purples through the first sector. Web Smurfer just coming up to the top of the mountain. Looking for sector times as he just comes around this final corner. And then he'll hit a sector and we'll see. We'll get a good feeling where he's at. He's 3/10 up on his own time. And he's only a 1/10.5 behind Skyjacker. So he could jump Skyjacker this lap. Shiren, he's just coming up to the final corner. How is he looking? It's looking good on the timer as he goes through that final bend. And he's going to hit the line with a 59. Yes, beautiful stuff from Shiren. Puts himself 3rd fastest. Web Smurfer coming down Conrod Straight towards the chase. We saw he was around 3/10 up on his own time. That'll put him ahead of Skyjacker. But I think Shiren a little bit further ahead than that. A little kick up of the dirt there through the chase. Hasn't affected his speed too much. Heavy on the brakes for the final corner, Murray's corner. And he's back on the accelerator again, heading towards the line. And he posts himself a 2-minute... Oh, he lost just fractions of time somewhere in that lap. Matt Psycho on an out lap at the moment. And Skyjacker having another crack at the time here. And we're already 11.5 minutes into the qualifying session. Only 3.5 minutes left. Electric, he's nowhere near. And Koikap, I mean, nowhere near finishing his lap, not his time. Rivixter there, he's just heading up Mountain Straight. He's just down a little bit on his own time. That Psycho, he seems to be untouchable today. Uncle B is the only one close enough to do anything about him. And it's a real shame if Digital... Oh, he's up. It's this real shame if Digital Blasphemy has struggles here after getting a win 2 rounds ago and a second place last round. He's put himself right in contention against Matt Psycho. So Shiren there, 3rd fastest so far. Skyjacker going for it, but Shiren's the first one in that final corner between the two of them. Goes racing towards the start finish line, and he's gone faster. He stays in 3rd, I believe. But Skyjacker, what can Skyjacker produce as he comes up towards the line? It's looking good. He's gone a lot faster. He's gone up to 2nd place. He's put himself ahead of Shiren and Uncle B. Uncle B finding... He's come across Koi Carp on his way around, but I don't think it might not have affected him too badly. 2 minutes left of qualifying as Uncle B slides that Beetle through Forrest's elbow. Only inches away from the wall. Web Smurf has gone in. He's ran out of fuel. I don't think he's going to get an outlap done. Digital Blasphemy seems to be having a struggle. He's in and out the room, and they may have a word with him whilst qualifying was happening. But Uncle B now not letting the ins and outs of Digital Blasphemy. Rivixter goes faster but stays in 8th. With Uncle B now coming around that final corner. It's looking good on the clock as he heads up towards the start straight line. And oh, he's just a 10th off of his own time there, with Matt Psycho looking absolutely strong. Skyjacker getting within 2 tenths, but he's not going to do it this lap. Just pushing that car beyond its boundaries. Can he get to the line and get one more lap in after this one? He might do. He's only that long straight away. Uncle B has put it into the pit lane now. Digital Blasphemy leaving the room again. He looks like he's having a real struggle today as Shiren takes out a couple of brake marker boards, and he's gone straight on. Maybe that he'll blame Digital for that one. Daz has joined. Daz is here. Great stuff. He's going to have to start from the back though, as Web Smurfer is on an outlap. I don't think he's going to get to the line in time. That Psycho, he's on a lap at the moment. Skyjacker, he's going to be nipper tuck if he can make it for another one. He's gone a little wide through the chase, but this lap doesn't count for him. He's already had a bit of an off. Electric flying on by. Electric trying to get to the line so he can get another lap in before the end of qualifying. And yes, Electric gets through and gets another lap under his belt. And Skyjacker, can he do it? He's slowed down. No, he's waiting for the time to run out. No, he's had enough. He's had enough of that shenanigans, he says. So Matt Psycho having another run. Shiren goes across the line, doesn't go any faster, and he's done for the day. Web Smurfer still trying to give it a go. And so he did get across the line. I said I didn't think he'd get across the line, but he did. Electric getting another go in, and so is Koi, but he's 1.7 seconds down on his time. And Electric out there doing a cracking job. Matt Psycho, ooh, just rubbing up with the wall. Beautiful car placement there from Matt Psycho as he makes his way around. Oh, I missed Mama Sykes saying earlier on that Frank Williams was a great man. R.I.P. Revs in peace. And here comes Matt Psycho going around the chase now. Is he going to put it beyond? There's only really it's Web Smurfer and Electric out there going for it. No, it looks like Web Smurfer's out. And Electric still on a run, but Matt Psycho crossing the line. Is he going to go faster on his last run? He does. Oh my word. Fantastic run from Matt Psycho. So I think we've just got Electric. Koi is out of it. So yes, just Electric having a run at the moment. Can he go any faster? He's got about 9 tenths from a Web Smurfer. And he's 2.8 seconds ahead of electric at the moment. Electric Koi Cup at the moment. So here he comes around that final corner. The timer looks good as he crosses the line. He does go faster, but not close enough for Web Smurfer. Misses out on just under 2/10. But great effort from Electric. Right, so we've got guys in the pits. We're going to have to wait the 50-odd seconds. But Matt Psycho, an absolute dominant qualifying from him today. That Williams on the side of his car has given him a fair few tenths there, I'm sure of it. Skyjacker also adding a Williams tribute to the side of his car for second fastest. Ryan in the chat saying howdy guys, howdy there. I think he's Web Smurfer. Oh. So Uncle P Darren grabbing himself a great third place. Shiren starting fourth on the grid. Web Smurfer fifth. And Electric only just missing out on that fifth place there in sixth. Koi Carp starting in seventh. And Rivixter will be starting eighth. And possibly they'll be asked to exit before the start of the race. And I imagine Digital Blasphemy will be ninth maybe and Daz 10th. So I'll expect Skyjacker to ask them guys to quit out and then do the grid manually. So if you can't remember it, Skyjacker. Oh yeah, it's always weird. It's weird here. Matt Psycho is pole, but the way the grid's set up, it's very odd. Skyjacker there has asked them to exit before the race. And Matt Psycho just getting a little practice start there with Shiren and Electric. Not quite exiting yet. And oh no, the host has ended the game altogether. Boom. The room is closed. So, yes. We'll give him 2 seconds or so to set up another room. Hopefully get everyone in it. We can see the other guys out there who are racing. We've got the SNL touring cars this evening, round 4, race 1 at Dragon's Trail Gardens. I hope they're having a blindingly good race. I won't pop in because they may be racing and I don't want to upset anyone there. And I don't know that fella, but I'm guessing it's Anton Poika's group doing a race at Kyoto Driving Park, Yamigawa in the group 3s, and MVP Racing, Return of the Raptor. I'm guessing that's the big old Raptor pickup trucks. And let's update the list. It still hasn't happened yet. Skyjack says he's loading the room now as we speak. So we'll have a look at a Nissan 180 SX. Very nice. There is a Toyota, I'm guessing, from Berlin, in Berlin. No, it's a Porsche, sorry. And there you see a Toyota. Safety car. Safety first, always. And then in 1932, Porsche developed a compact Type 12. So always learning something here at the Virtual Race Club. In 1932, the Sydney Harbour Bridge was built. If anyone wants to buy it, it's for sale. And what else? Oh, now we've got is that a Yaris in Italy? I don't know. I don't know what that is. I can't remember what that is either. It's a Renault, Anyway, let's have a look. Let's have a look to see if the room is up and running. Enough education, car education for us today. I think it can be too much sometimes. There we go. We've got the VDUB bug up and running again. It's not got full beans on that bar, is it? It's not looking strong. The force is not strong with this room today. But hopefully, just starting the race, everyone will get off the grid perfectly fine. And we can have ourselves an absolutely delicious race. Keeping our fingers crossed. Wow, it feels like it has been a while since we've had bug issues. we just wait for a couple of stragglers to come along. Electric looks like he has been here and left. I don't know if he's struggling. And Pat saying the Sydney Harbour Bridge was built in Middlesbrough. My word, it seems like a long way away. That's a long bridge. That's got some reach on it. Koikarp has entered the room. So I think now we're just waiting for maybe Electric. Electric, he has been known to have some issues sometimes with some of the rooms, and the host has gone again. Oh, great. More education, please. I can't wait. Let's learn something else. Right, in 1926, the Type 37 is produced by Bugatti. And while aesthetically similar to the Type 35, it's gone. In 1926, the first man to reach the North Pole on May the 9th, Richard E. Byrd, made his way to the North Pole. Not bad, not bad. And I think that is I don't know what that is. I'm not sure what that is either. It's a fast car. It's a fast car. You can tell it's a fast car because everything's blurry around it. That's a Triumph, isn't it? I think. I don't like to guess because I'm always wrong. But yeah, very, very nice looking car. Wedge. In 2001, Gran Turismo 3 was released in North America. Let's hope they had enough consoles for it to be played on. 2001, Wikipedia was born by Jimmy Wales and Larry Sanger, creating Wikipedia, the Internet Encyclopedia. Fantastic stuff. There's a picture from Germany in the historical museum. And there we've got a picture from Gloucestershire in the UK. Beautiful stuff. We want more education, though. That one's an Aston Martin, I can tell you that. That's cracking stuff. Mama in the chat, Mama Sykes saying, right, Matt, go get them. I think that's a Dodge Viper, one of my favourite cars. Absolutely a meanie, if there ever was, on the road. Cracking stuff. That's the cockpit of a car. Couldn't tell you which one, though. Oh, it's probably the Dodge still. I think we're doing a whole Dodge preview. Ahead Turtle saying, who won the first Andre last F1 race in Cuba and was kidnapped? Boris. Dennis. No. I don't know. I couldn't think of another name. Colin. I'm not sure, Turtle. You'll have to give us that answer. And there we go. The room's up. Hopefully they're not already racing. They probably got bored of me doing my educational seminar. Fangio. Oh, what? The proper famous Fangio. The one that won all the championships. God, he got kidnapped. What a man. That must have been quite scary for him. I'm surprised they got him. He's quite a fast dude. Uncle B saying Soz. Oh, God, I hope they're not racing. That would be terrible. I've missed the beginning of a race. No, looks like they were waiting for me. Sorry, guys, I'm here now. And I don't need to change anything. It's all changed. It's all ready for me. If I go to track, I'll get rid of the big numbers, and then I'll quickly just say, I'm here. Or I'll just put R, as to say, I am ready. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they're still waiting for someone. There was 10, wasn't there, to be in attendance. We've only got 9. Electric's here, who is not here. So we've got Web Smurfer, we got Electric. Now I'm taking the register. It's proper like a school day, isn't it? Uncle B, Darren, Skyjacker, Matt Psycho, Koikarp. Sharon. Sharon wasn't here yet. Digital Blasphemy's here. Oh no, Sharon got in. Oh no, Sharon left the room as Skyjacker started the final. Oh dear me. That's not good. Oops. Oopsies. Pat saying the Bathurst lap record is a 2:01.567 set in 2016. Ryan Collins saying good luck, guys. And yes, oh, poor Sharon. And someone else we're missing. I'm not sure. Yeah, but sometimes Sharon is in it and I can't see him. So I don't know. I don't know if he is. If someone's doing a live stream, you should check it, because you never know. Matt Psycho is the man on pole. Even though it says Skyjacker, it's just the way it's set up here. And Matt Psycho making a great getaway at the moment. But Skyjacker just ahead. And Skyjacker goes into the first corner first. There's a little bit of rumbling further back. between, and Web Smurfer seems to have lost out a lot there. Koi Carp's waiting for him. So maybe he feels there's a red flag, but it has to be 3 people. Oh no, Electric. You've got to call it, boys, if you want to restart. Electric's got to call it, and Koi has got to call it as well. They don't seem to be calling it. It's just Web Smurfer. But Electric has waited for Koi and Web to go through. But it's only Web Smurfer. There is Digital Blasphemy in his Williams replica. In respect to Frank Williams, sorry, I was thinking of something else. So Matt Psycho there has taken the lead back from Skyjacker. UBD chasing them down for third, and Daz getting a great start for a change. We've seen Daz do some great strategies in this championship. Digital Blasphemy in 5th. We've got Web Smurfer now up into 6th, but he's lost a bit of ground to the guys ahead of him. Electric in 7th, and Koi Carp in 8th place. And Matt Psycho heading around, absolutely pulverising everyone. He's almost a second already ahead of Skyjacker, with Uncle B there in 3rd, Daz 4th. Digital Blasphemy, but we have been tricked before. Shiren could be out there racing. I don't want to leave the room and come back in again because it's a bit glitchy, might cause issues. So Matt Psycho leading the way. I must say, I have been enjoying doing the replays of late because of this headache that is the servers of GT Sport. They do seem to be getting worse. So Matt Psycho leads them around for the first lap here with Skyjacker following in 2nd. UBD is 3rd place. Daz in 4th. Then Digital Blasphemy trying to close the gap on Daz, just ahead of him, 1.8 seconds behind. Where Daz is 3.4 seconds behind UBD. Web Smurfer, some 8 seconds behind the rest of the pack, with Electric 2.9 seconds behind him, and Koi Carp 2 seconds behind Electric. So Koi Carp chasing down Electric at the moment, whilst Matt Psycho blazes away by about a second on Skyjacker. And it is a race of strategy. No one knows what engine setting these guys are running. It's a 60-minute race with high fuel burn, and here at Bathurst it would be a rather hard job to keep that fuel in your tank with 2 very long straights in it, one of them uphill, pulling the weight of this Beetle all the way, as Skyjacker tries to keep Matt Psycho in sight. They've both pulled away from UBD there. Daz there in 4th. And Digital Blasphemy only 3 seconds behind them. And we'll see their strategies come together when the first pit stops start emerging. But Matt Psycho at the moment doing a glorious job out there in his Peroni. Well, it's Williams sponsored this week. Volkswagen Beetle. 1.6 seconds from Skyjacker now. Skyjacker winning the last round at I'm blanking. It's a famous track. I just can't remember. It was a great race. It was a great race. I just can't remember what track it was. How unbelievable is that? Just totally having a mind blank on it. Then we have Uncle B. It was Spa. It was Spa, sorry. I knew it had come. As soon as I thought about something else, that's when my mind would have tricked me and let me know what it was. All the time I could have sat there for 10 minutes trying to think about what track it was, and I wouldn't have got it. And as soon as I thought, right, I'll go on to my next thought, is when my brain went, there you go, it was Spa. You dick. So Daz in 4th. Pat in the chat saying Spa last week, by the way. Oh yeah, my brain beat you. Only just though, Pat. The delay in my mind finally got there. So Daz in 4th, pulling away from Digi at the moment. Digital Blasphemy. Web Smurfer not drawing any closer to those guys ahead of him. Electric in 7th. He's pulled away a little bit from the Koi Carp in his VRC liveried Beetle. It looks super. Just borrowing a wall there, just on his rear fender to help him through. And at the moment, Matt Psycho, he's built up 2 seconds on Skyjacker, but it could come down to all about the strategy. At the moment, though, it looks like Matt and Sky have used up similar fuel loads, exactly the same, in fact, with UBD using a little twincy-wincy little bit more than the guys ahead of them. He's only 3 seconds adrift. Daz looks to be closing the gap on UBD at the moment. We could have the battle of the Darrens again, and it's great when we see UBD and Daz battle each other, the double Darren dose. And there we see a Digital Blasphemy. He's chasing Matt Psycho in this championship, but he's got a long way to go. And now from that point, then Web Smurfer, our American friend, out there in 6th. He's pulled well away from Coy. Oh, it looks like Electric has lost a position to Coy. He must have had a small off, and that has given Coy Carp a position in this race. Electric as well, burning up a little bit more fuel than Coy Carp at this point, but Matt Psycho's up to 2.7 seconds ahead. Absolute trounce in the rest of the field. Skyjacker just trying to stay with Matt Psycho at the moment, with UBD in 3rd, and Daz has closed the gap, and we are getting ourselves prepared here for a double Darren showdown here at Bathurst, as Daz closes the gap to UBD. UBD holding station in his pink Herbie replica, and Daz in the Liqua Molly liveried Beetle, chasing him down here at Bathurst. We can get on board with Daz at the moment, hunting himself a bit of Uncle B Darren as they come through the S's. Oh, scary piece of track that really is, into the Dipper, I think, and then around towards Forest Elbow. Very tight left-hand corner, then they can open it up, and Daz, he could be just in the sweet spot for that slipstream, and it looks like you can just see Skyjacker off in the distance there. Digital Blasphemy 5.5 seconds behind Daz, ahead of a Web Smurfer. Daz going a little bit quicker as well, and breaking down towards the chase, and you can see them curbs are no friends of these sim racers. They're quite high curbs going into the chase. They can cause a right headache as they go through Murray's corner, and it definitely looks like Daz has drawn a little closer to UBD. Matt Psycho, meanwhile, 4.2 second lead out there, absolutely ripping up the streets of Bathurst, while Skyjacker slipping away. Well, he's sticking to the time, really, and the fuel is exactly the same, so Matt Psycho has really found a good way of driving this car around here, saving fuel and getting good lap times, with Skyjacker a second off a lap at the moment. UBD just staying ahead of Daz. Daz is in the 2-minute mark, where UBD is doing 2:01s. Further down, Digital Blasphemy, he seems to be closing the gap on the guys ahead of him. It was 5 seconds, it's down to 4 seconds now, but he looks like he's throwing that car into the corners. Unbelievable stuff. Web Smurfer lost a little bit of ground to Digital Blasphemy. Electric is back ahead of Coy Carp. Coy Carp doing a 2:07 his last time around, with Electric doing a 2:03. So these two in the middle of a battle at the moment, and the battle is controlling that Beetle. It's a monster. Matt Psycho 5 seconds ahead of Skyjacker, but Skyjacker's staying consistent in that 2-minute bracket. UBD, he's pulled out another 10th on Daz, so Daz has got it all to do down this straight again, trying to get that slipstream to get closer to UBD. Daz there, it's down to 5/10. It's all about breaking into the chase. Is Daz going to catch him up as they head towards the chase now, braking heavily, kicking down that speed, and in they go, and UBD getting it back up to a second. Daz a little bit heavier on the brakes than UBD. Then Digital Blasphemy, he's down to 3 seconds now. He's catching the two Darrens ahead of him. Smurfer, he's lost a bit more time to Digital Blasphemy, but he's 10 seconds ahead of Electric, who's 5 seconds ahead of Koi Cup, and it's happening up and down the field. Matt Psycho, though, 5.6 seconds ahead of Skyjacker, and I'm not sure if Shiren is out there in the mix. Sometimes he goes into stealth mode, and we can't see him on the stream. UBD, though, ooh, Daz must have had a little knock on the wall, because UBD has pulled away over a second, and now he was 8/10 ahead of him. He's now 1.6 seconds. Daz has lost another second to Digital Blasphemy, so Digital Blasphemy coming back into this race. They're all on well. UBD's used a little bit more fuel up than Daz, and Digital Blasphemy seems to have saved more fuel than the two ahead of him. Matt Psycho and Skyjacker, exact same fuel loads out there. So them two look to be running the same strategy. Matt Psycho just a little bit quicker than Skyjacker here at Mount Panama, with UBD now up to 2 seconds ahead of Daz. I don't know if Daz is starting to ease off the accelerator somewhat, but that helps Digital Blasphemy, who's closing in on Daz. Let's get on board with Digi as he goes through the treacherous forest elbow onto the straight. And he can see UBD and Daz ahead of him as he tries to wang his car up through the gears. He's going 2/10 faster than he's been. Matt Psycho's still got the fastest lap with that 1:59.3. Heavy on the brakes into the chase. And you just got to be careful with those curves. They can be very upsetting to the car. And Digi is closing in on UBD with Uncle. They're 1.6 seconds ahead of Daz. So Daz has closed the gap a little bit. It was up to 2 seconds between him and UBD, but now it's down to 1.5 seconds. But Digital Blasphemy, he was 5 seconds behind those guys earlier in this race, and now he's got it down to 1.4 seconds. So Digital Blasphemy are really on a push at the moment. Web Smurfer, he's lost a bit more time to the guys ahead of him, but he's nearly 14 seconds ahead of Electric. Koi Carp only 2.5 seconds behind Electric. Still all to play for between these two. There is a race on for sure, with Matt Psycho, though, absolutely blaring away. He's 12 seconds. Oh no, Skyjacker's had a moment. Skyjacker must have had a moment, because he's lost position to UBD, Daz and Digital Blasphemy. And poor Skyjacker, he's down to a quarter of a tank of fuel. UBD, he's going to have to pit at the end of this lap. Daz, he's on a similar fuel load as Skyjacker and Matt Psycho. UBD, though, very low on fuel indeed. And Digital Blasphemy, he's similar to the rest of them, on a quarter of a tank of fuel. Skyjacker dropped 5 seconds on those guys ahead of him, and he'll be trying to close that gap, I am sure, as UBD now definitely going to be into the pits. We're nearly at the 15-minute mark, which is a sign of a 3-stopper. And Daz trying to catch up while he can. UBD and racing on fumes. And let's hope he doesn't miss the pit lane. It can catch you out up down here. It's just to your right. Go, right. That's it. No, left, sorry. I was looking the other way. But yes, so UBD into the pits. No issues whatsoever. Daz goes around to grab that second place. Digital Blasphemy has continued on. And Skyjacker, he seems to be ghosted. Oh my gosh. Hopefully everything's all right for Sky. I know he's been having some knee issues of late. So Skyjacker, he might be having an incident of some kind, losing ground on those guys while he's in ghost mode. Web Smurfer closing the gap on Skyjacker. It's down to 9 seconds. And Skyjacker seems to be away from his keyboard at the moment. Meanwhile, Matt Psycho absolutely flying out there, 15 seconds ahead of Daz. But both of them are going to need to pit at the end of this lap. Digital Blasphemy looking after his fuel the best at the moment. Skyjacker looks to be back in the game again Whatever the issue was, it seems to have fixed itself, and he's back on it with Web Smurfer in 5th place, with Uncle B Darren out of the pits, full tank of fuel, ahead of Electric and Coy, which are still quite relatively close on track. And anything can happen. Electric needing to pit at the end of this lap, but Coy looking after his fuel load very well indeed. And Matt Psycho, as he comes through the chase, he's going to be into the pits pretty soon, as will Daz. Digital Blasphemy might be able to squeeze another lap out of this car. We'll see if he... well, his fuel's just started flashing. We'll see what he decides to do. Skyjacker there in 4th. He's very low on fuel. He's going to be wanting to put it into the pits. So Matt Psycho into the pits now. Daz, we'll see, going left as he comes along here and heads towards the pit lane. What is Digi is going to come into the pits. He's closing down on Daz. Skyjacker, we assume, also, after he comes through the chase, is going to put it into the pits. Web Smurfer, he's looked after his fuel quite well. We're at 16.5 minutes into the race. UBD has already made a pit stop. And has that helped him out with all the guys pitting in front of him? Skyjacker into the pits. Web Smurfer, he's opted to go round again. Interesting stuff from Web Smurfer. So, Web Smurfer, I'd say he leads, but Matt Psycho definitely out before Web Smurfer reaches him. So Matt Psycho back out in the lead. Web Smurfer up into 2nd. And what about UBD, Uncle B Darren? Is he going to get around that first corner before anyone else comes out of the pits? He does. And then you can see them all. Digital Blasphemy. Daz, he's made a jump. He's jumped him in the pits. He did have a little bit more fuel on board than Daz. And that, I think, has helped him jump Daz in the pits. Koi Carp has come through. Skyjacker topped up. And he's back out on track as Electric makes his stop. So a Skyjacker, but Koi Carp will have to pit, although he's still got a lap's worth of fuel in that car. He'll be pitting at the end of this lap, I am sure. And Matt Psycho then, 17.5 minutes into this race. We've still got 42.5 minutes to go. It's a long race here at Bathurst. And it looks to me that Matt Psycho has got the measure of the rest of the gang. Web Smurfer will come into the pits at the end of this lap. Let's hope he's got enough fuel to get there. That's very low on fuel, and he's a long way from the pit lane. Uncle B Darren moving up into 3rd, so that early pit stop has given him a jump on Digital Blasphemy and Daz with the lesser, Digital Blasphemy having to put less fuel in the pits, has jumped Daz in the pit lane. So Daz has got it all to do now. You can see Digital Blasphemy and UBD up ahead of him. Web Smurfer coming down towards the chase. He's still got fuel on board. Koi Carp, his fuel started flashing, so he's going to be wanting to come into the pits. Electric pitting the lap earlier, and his race is with Koi Carp today. So Koi will be wanting to get into the pits, top up with fuel, get out. Web Smurfer is in the pits. Can he get out? Who's he really racing? Web Smurfer, he was behind Skyjacker, I'd assume. And there we see Skyjacker going through the chase up to the final corner. Koi Carp is into the pits. And Skyjacker moving up into 5th place. And what can Electric do? Electric racing Koi Carp today. He wants to be ahead. Koi hasn't quite got to his box yet. And Electric going through the chase up to Murray's corner. And it looks like Electric will get ahead. Web Smurfer out on track, 8 seconds behind Skyjacker. He has lost no time yet. Electric then going across the start-finish line. Koi Carp still topping up. He's been released. Electric's around that first corner. It's going to be tight. Going to be very tight. And there is Electric ahead of Koi, but only by a second. And it's race on here for Koi Carp and Electric. Matt Psycho so far, 16.7 second lead in the race. He can choose his strategy now. He can back right off if he wanted to. UBD with his early pit stop has jumped Digital Blasphemy and Daz. Well, I think UBD was ahead of him anyway. But UBD staying in that second place. But Digital Blasphemy and Daz have a lot more fuel on board than UBD. Skyjacker some 19 seconds behind him. He lost a whole chunk of time in the middle of this race. We saw he was ghosted for a fair few corners. And he might have had any kind of issues, or wheel issues, or real issues, we don't know. Web Smurfer trying to close the gap. He has as well. He was some 8-9 seconds behind Skyjacker. He's got it down to 7.5. Skyjacker might be absolutely mental fuel saving though, we don't know. And Web Smurfer, we managed to stop a lap later than Skyjacker, trying to take the race to him. Electric 3 seconds ahead of Coy, but Coy on a heavier tank, a heavier fuel load than Electric at this point, and he might be trying to just strategy his way past Electric, with Electric having to pit earlier than Coy. And Matt Psycho really absolutely blazing it out there. He's doing a cracking job. So Matt Psycho leading from Uncle B Darren, who's only a second ahead of Digital Blasphemy. Digital Blasphemy catching Uncle B Darren up every lap on board with Digital Blasphemy. And we've got Daz just behind us. Oh, you can't quite see him, but he's not far behind. He's only 2 seconds behind. One small mistake here at Bathurst can put you right to the back. It really can. It's a track that bites. As you see him going down the S's. Oh, and see Digital Blasphemy. That's what I mean. Digital Blasphemy, a small mistake, and that's going to put Daz right there on his case as they head towards the chase. And that is how easy it is done. Unbelievable stuff. So now Digital Blasphemy has to deal with Daz in his slipstream as they come down the long straight, Conrad Straight. UBD gets a bit of breathing space as Daz there in the slipstream tries to get himself past Digital Blasphemy. He's up alongside him, and it looks like Daz is going to get the move done. Oh, it's tight. They're side by side. Digital Blasphemy trying to protect his line as much as he possibly can. And there, Digital Blasphemy only just staying ahead of Daz. There's a rather aggressive move, Daz will probably feel. And Daz still stays waiting for his moment to leap. But Uncle B Darren has moved ahead by about 3.6 seconds. That takes some of the pressure off. Skyjacker 23 seconds behind that battle ahead of him. Web Smurfer catching him up by another second. And we think that Skyjacker could be really going into a massive fuel save here, as Matt Psycho already nearly on half a tank of fuel. UBD under half a tank of fuel. Digital Blasphemy just over half a tank. So is Daz. Skyjacker 3/4 of a tank. So yeah, I think Skyjacker is trying to save fuel dramatically, whilst a Web Smurfer there is burning through his. He's got 3/4 of a tank as he chases down Skyjacker. He's 6.5 seconds behind him. 16 seconds ahead of Electric. Electric has pulled away from Koi Carp, but he's used half a tank of fuel, where Koi Carp has only used 1/4 of his tank. So Electric burning through the fuel. And it's not all about the speed here in the VDUB Bug Enduro Cup. Matt Psycho, meanwhile, 20 seconds ahead of UBD. So Skyjacker, I mean, it says Skyjacker's 40 seconds off of the lead there. 47 seconds off of the lead. But the way he's fuel saving, that could put him in a net second place, because UBD's already 20 seconds behind Matt Psycho. So he's only 27 seconds behind Digital UBD. Digital Blasphemy is a further 3 seconds behind Uncle B Darren. Daz 1.5 seconds behind Digital Blasphemy. So yeah, Skyjacker, he could be boxing clever here with his strategy. Web Smurfer, he's just got it under 6 seconds now as he chases down Skyjacker out there. Although him and Skyjacker, similar fuel loads. Electric burning through his fuel quite quickly, pulling away from Coy. Coy being clever with his fuel though. And Matt Psycho getting another fastest lap, that last lap around. And he is a man possessed. He wants this win. He's got Digital Blasphemy only 3 points behind him in the championship, and he wants to extend that lead with only 2 rounds left. He's got himself pole and the fastest lap so far, going for full beans in this race, 4 points at the mountain. UBD doing a cracking job there in second place, but he's down to a quarter of a tank of fuel with Digital Blasphemy on half a tank. Daz just on a half a tank. Skyjacker still saving fuel very well indeed. And Web Smurfer just slowly reeling in Skyjacker with similar fuel loads. Electric pulling away from Koi, but using his fuel to do so. And Koi boxing clever with that fuel load. And we are nearly, we're 26 minutes into this race. I was going to say we're nearly halfway, but we're not quite halfway. We're 26 minutes in to the VDUB Bug Enduro Cup round 6. And Matt Psycho has himself a 21-second lead on UBD, Uncle B Darren, who's 2.6 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy, who's holding on to that 1.5 second lead of Daz. And I think today it could be Skyjacker that we've got to watch out for. I think he's saving fuel pretty well out there as these guys tear away. Like UBD, he's going to have to pit again in the next lap or 2. Digital Blasphemy, he's trying to look after his fuel as well, as is Daz. Similar fuel loads from Digital Blasphemy and Daz. Web Smurfer 5.5 seconds behind Skyjacker, and I think he might be going into a bit of a fuel save. He's done 2 2:03s this last 2 laps. Maybe he's realised he's burning through his fuel quite quickly. Still similar fuel loads to Skyjacker, similar lap times. Electric 14.6 seconds behind Web Smurfer. It's up to 22 seconds ahead of Koi now. Koi must have lost a chunk of time somewhere. Maybe on this lap, because he wasn't that far behind Electric. And Racer Brown saying hello, and my velvet toned friend. Hi Racer Brown, how are you, my friend? So Matt Psycho absolutely tearing it today is Matt Psycho, the king of the hill. We'll have to name him the king of the mountain, because he is doing an absolute blast. UBD in second place, but he's gonna have to make a pit stop. We're not quite halfway into this race. Definitely a 3-stopper for Uncle B Darren. Digital Blasphemy, you can see just in the distance, and Daz not far behind Digi, but they're saving their fuel a little bit better than UBD. Then we've got Skyjacker in 5th. He's 30 seconds behind those guys, but he is barely using that fuel tank. And I don't know if he's trying to squeeze a 2-stopper out of this again like he did last round. It worked for him last round, but he might be too far off that. Web Smurfer getting ever closer to Skyjacker. It's down to 4.5 seconds. When they came out of the pits, they were roughly around about 7.5 to 8 seconds apart. Web Smurfer has slowly drawn in a Skyjacker over these last few laps. Electric was 10 seconds ahead of Koi Karp, but he's gained a massive amount in that last lap. There you go, yes, Koi Karp did 2:14.5. So Koi obviously had a bit of an issue on lap 13, unlucky for some. And Matt Psycho, after getting pole, and he's got fastest lap, he's absolutely on fire here. And Uncle B is into the pits. So UBD going into the pits for a replenish of fuel and new boots. Digital Blasphemy 1.2 seconds ahead of Daz. Racer Brown says, I think push like mad at Bathurst is the only way. So interesting. Yes, I wasn't sure how they were going to do it, especially with that long straight. Just lose too much turning your engine down, you'd think. But we'll see. Skyjacker is looking after his fuel very well indeed. He's already ahead of UBD, only by 2.4 seconds. But he's only on half a tank of fuel. So Skyjacker's strategy, it might work for him. We're at halfway now. So I think Skyjacker going for that 2-stop strategy. with Matt Psycho. He's down to less than a quarter of a tank, same as Digital Blasphemy and Daz. So they'll be pitting in the next lap or two. Daz absolutely snaking it through the S's. Absolute beautiful stuff as they get to Forest Elbow. And Daz 1.8 seconds behind Digital Blasphemy. Skyjacker then up into fourth, with UBD just making his pit stop, his second pit stop, down to fifth, and Webb Smurfer not too far behind him. Webb Smurfer putting himself back into this race, it would seem, as he closes in on UBD. Electric 15 seconds shy of those guys, but he's going to have to pit, and Koikarp still got half a tank of fuel. So Electric, he's going for it, whereas Koikarp is looking after that fuel indeed. Matt Psycho, he's tearing away, but did a 2 minute, his first 2 minute. Oh no, he did one on lap 7 as well, but that was his pit stop. The lap before his pit stop. He must have been slightly in the pit lane when he made that stop, when he got that lap time. But maybe now Matt Psycho turning the engine down, maybe he feels 25 seconds is the magic number. Turn his engine down and try and save some fuel with Digital Blasphemy. Trying to get away from Daz at this point. 1.5 seconds between them both. And Daz's fuel has started flashing, so Daz will be in at the end of this lap. Digital Blasphemy, he did pit the same time as Daz last time around, so possibly he might do it again in his Williams replica livery for Sir Frank Williams. And Skyjacker chasing them down, 32 seconds shy of them, but he's still got half a tank. My God, that fuel's not going down for Skyjacker. He's doing a cracking job. Staying ahead of UBD, 3.4 seconds. Webb Smurfer, he looks like he's backed off a little bit as well. He went fastest he's been so far in this race with a 2:02. There's a yellow flag. Oh no, Skyjacker with his fuel saving, he's made a mistake. Oh my word, Skyjacker, he'll be getting frustrated out there with Matt Psycho now. His fuel's flashing, he's into the pits. Digital Blasphemy, he's going to follow him into the pits, I'm sure, as will Daz. UBD will retake those positions, I am sure, from Digital Blasphemy and Daz. Not quite from Matt Psycho though. I imagine Matt Psycho will be out before him. Webb Smurfer up to fifth. And Skyjacker, he was running a great race up until that point, not going through that fuel. Koikarp's got himself ahead of Electric. That's because Electric pitted, sorry. So Electric pitted that last lap around, and now Koikarp ahead of him on just over a quarter of a tank of fuel. The top three into the pits. There's Matt Psycho. Digital Blasphemy, not quite got to his box yet. Nor has Daz. And Uncle B Darren will be trying to catch them up. We have 26, just over 26 and a half minutes left of racing here. Matt Psycho back out on track, and it's going to be a slam dunk of a win for Matt Psycho today. Digital Blasphemy and Daz still filling up, and UBD into the final corner, but he's got to get around that first corner to beat the two drivers. No, Digital Blasphemy is out. Digital Blasphemy is out of the pits, and so is Daz. So UBD has definitely lost both those positions, and he'll be confounded. He'll be wondering what happened. He won't be able to believe his luck. He was ahead of Digital Blasphemy and Daz, and Digital Blasphemy, the closest contender to Matt Psycho in the championship, is behind him now. So not too bad for Digital Blasphemy at all, not losing too much from Matt Psycho. UBD down into fourth. Webb Smurfer only just ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker and Webb Smurfer, very similar loads. We think they are trying to two-stop this bad boy. And Koikarp only just ahead of Electric. Electric after his pit stop, catching up with Koi. But Koi's still got a quarter of a tank of fuel on board. And Electric only a second behind him. So interesting strategies, two different strategies here at the back between Electric and Koi. Koi saving fuel and Electric just trying to go for it. Matt Psycho then leading by 27 seconds from Digital Blasphemy, and And Digital Blasphemy stayed out there a couple more laps longer, saved fuel, a little better than UBD. Uncle B Darren only 2.4 seconds behind Daz though. Web Smurfer and Skyjacker very close together on the track. Skyjacker getting a slipstream down towards the chase. And Skyjacker, can he make the move on Web Smurfer as they head towards the chase? Although Skyjacker might prefer to just sit behind Web Smurfer and save fuel for another couple more laps. I can't believe how much he's made that fuel tank last. Great stuff from Sky. Koikarp just still holding on to that second ahead of Electric. Another one, I think, trying to stop it. We're 24 minutes left of this race, 35 minutes in, or 26 minutes should I say. And so far we've got Matt Psycho in the lead by nearly 30 seconds, 28 seconds if you want to be precise. He's got the fastest lap, he got pole, and he is definitely head and shoulders above the rest of the field here today. Digital Blasphemy is 2 seconds ahead of Daz. Daz having a great race at the moment, looking good for a podium. But I think they're going to have to make another stop before the end of this race unless they turn their engines right down. UBD on half a tank of fuel. He's definitely going to go for another stop. Skyjacker only 7.4 seconds behind UBD. And he's only made the one stop so far with Web Smurfer 3/10 behind. We missed the move, I do apologise. But Skyjacker has got himself ahead of Web Smurfer. And their fuel loads are exactly the same out there. And Skyjacker is sliding through the corners, very scary part of the track. Let's get on board with Web Smurfer as he chases down Skyjacker. You can see Skyjacker wiggling through Forest Elbow. Not much grip left on those tyres for Skyjacker. He's used it for a fair few laps now, as has Web Smurfer. And they're trying to get them fuel tanks to last as long as they can. They're 42 seconds behind Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho, that's near enough a pit stop ahead. Oh no! Skyjacker off again. Skyjacker not having a great race here today. Unbelievable stuff. He will be absolutely screaming in his helmet. Matt Psycho then leading 158.9. He's pushed that fastest lap too. Digital Blasphemy staying ahead of Daz, but only by 1.4 seconds. Skyjacker into the pits. UBD chasing them down, 3.5 seconds behind Daz, but burning through his fuel to do so. Web Smurfer gaining that position from Skyjacker's mistake. Skyjacker saying having an absolute mare. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. And Koikarp though doing okay, but he's going to have to pit this lap. But Electric already nearly halfway through his fuel tank. So Koikarp, I think the strategy is working in Koikarp's favour, with Electric now going on through, but not enough fuel in the tank to get into the end of the race, unless he was Skyjacker. I can't believe how much Skyjacker made that fuel last in the midsection. So Matt Psycho 30 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy. He's only 1.3 seconds ahead of Daz though. Digital Blasphemy looks to be saving fuel there now. Maybe Digital Blasphemy doesn't want to make another stop. He's on just under 3/4 of a tank of fuel, with Daz burnt through half a tank of fuel now. And maybe Digital Blasphemy trying to get that fuel to last to the rest of this race. It's a tough call though to do so. UBD is 5 seconds behind Daz. He's lost a bit of time somewhere on this lap. But Uncle B Darren chasing them down. Web Smurfer in 5th. He's going to have to come into the pits at the end of this lap as he heads down towards the chase. He's 40 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker making that pit stop though, and he'll be hoping that's his last pit stop of the day, and he'll be hoping to make a jump on Web Smurfer. As Web Smurfer goes in, it is roughly about 40 seconds for a pit stop here, and we see some dust there. Not by either of those guys, though. So, Digital Blasphemy, 1.1 seconds ahead of Daz. Daz hoping to dash Digital Blasphemy's dreams. And Digital Blasphemy just trying to get the maximum points he can as he chases Matt Psycho down in the championship. But Matt Psycho untouchable today, 30 seconds in lead of these guys. UBD is going through that fuel so fast. Web Smurfer topping it up. And there we see a Skyjacker starting to get on the scene of where the pits are. He's got to get around that first corner, though, to make the move. And Web Surfer, he's been released from the pit lane. And Web Smurfer does stay ahead of Skyjacker, but only just. Skyjacker can make the ground up ahead behind Web Smurfer. It's only 4.7 seconds. And Skyjacker, that's nothing, a dip in the ocean. So Electric, he is 35 seconds ahead of Koi Carp with Koi Carp's pit stop, but I don't think Koi Carp is going to have to make another pit stop today, whereas Electric, he might have to come in. If he's smart, he probably would turn everything down on that car, but then it's a tough call. He could turn everything down, but if it is not enough fuel to get to the end of the race, then he's just going to let Koi Carp catch him. So it's either go for it, try and pull out a pit stop on Koi and stop, or turn everything down and hope it's enough to stay ahead of Koi. But so far, Matt Psycho, half a tank of fuel out there in the lead. Daz is ahead of Digital Blasphemy. Oh my lord, we missed it. Daz has made the move. Digital Blasphemy must have made a mistake. He's been doing some 201s, or he's turning that engine right down, and he's going to try and make that car last till the end. Maybe he realises Web Smurfer hasn't got a pit again for the rest of this race, nor has Skyjacker. Although Skyjacker is down to 3/4, maybe he's just burning through it now and just going for it. And UBD, he's down to 1/4 of a tank of fuel. But Digital Blasphemy, I think he might have turned his car down, although 207. I don't think he's turned it down that much. I think he made a mistake. And that has put Daz up into second place. Daz, he's been waiting for a good result in the VDUBs. He's looked after his fuel great in most of the races, but for one reason or another, he's ended up at the back of the pack early doors and had to fight his way through. And today, he was in a good position, and now it looks like he's going to reap the rewards by getting himself a second spot. But we've still got 17 minutes to find out as Matt Psycho obliterates his lap time once again and does a 58.880, and Matt Psycho really is on fire around here. He's just over 1/4 of a tank of fuel, so I'm pretty sure he is going to pit again before the end of this race. Daz as well will need to pit again before the end of the race. Digital Blasphemy, he's lost about 6 seconds, but he's got half a tank of fuel. So I think Digital Blasphemy has turned the car down somewhat, and maybe he's going to try and get that tank to last all the way to the end, which will put him in good stead against Daz, maybe even close to Matt Psycho if Matt Psycho does make a pit stop. And Uncle B, he's just under 1/4 of a tank of fuel. Skyjacker's got himself ahead of Web Smurfer. Web Smurfer, I don't know if he made a mistake. It was 5-second deficit between him and Skyjacker. Now Skyjacker's 2.5 seconds ahead. So Skyjacker making the most of a bad day out there in the mountain. And he could still get UBD. It's not a bit, it's not, but I don't know, half a tank of fuel. He's going for it. He's turned everything up and he's just decided he's going for it. I'm pretty sure, because he's getting purples, he's into the 59s. So yeah, I think fuel saving is out the window for Skyjacker, and he is just pelting it now with a UBD low on fuel. He's going to make a second stop. Matt Psycho just on 1/4 of a tank of fuel with 15.5 minutes to go. Could need a pit stop, and it looks like Daz going for it as well now. They know they're making that second stop. Digital Blasphemy, he's playing a tight game, but ooh, nearly losing it. And they do say it's harder to drive slow than it is to drive fast. It's harder to you lose concentration a lot, I think, when you're fuel saving. I've heard it said in F1, when they're asked to do their fuel save parts, they say they'd rather just go for it. They'd rather just drive as fast as possible, because you can lose concentration, maybe get a little bit bored or something whilst driving around. But it looks to me now like Digital Blasphemy is easing off a little bit, although he's only 2/10 off of his fastest time. But Daz is up to 5 seconds ahead of him now. And Daz is a lowish on fuel. He's only got a lap or two left in that car. And Matt Psycho as well. Only a few laps left in his car of fuel. UBD, he's going to have to pit on this lap. And that looks to give Skyjacker the opportunity. But Skyjacker looks like he's trying to get the fastest lap here. He was very close that last time around with a 1:58.883. And UBD into the pits, and now that could be a position for Skyjacker. He's got better fuel than Digital Blasphemy and Daz. Daz is going to be into the pits at the end of this lap. Matt Psycho possibly into the pits at the end of this lap. Web Smurfer, he's still fuel saving. He's lost a bit of ground to Skyjacker, 6 seconds. Electric, he's got to come into the pits, and that might be where Koikarp's strategy comes into its own. We will see with 13.5 minutes to go. Electric heading down towards the pit lane. UBD into the pits. He's dropped behind Web Smurfer. So Web Smurfer's on the start straight. So UBD will be ahead of Web Smurfer by 4.6 seconds. And he's behind Skyjacker by 3.1 seconds. But Uncle B has got fuel to burn now for the last 13 minutes of this race. And Skyjacker, he may have to do a little fuel saving. We'll see. Matt Psycho's come in. We assume Daz will be in at the end of this lap. Digital Blasphemy, a quarter of a tank of fuel. I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think he's going to have to pit anyway. And Skyjacker, he's getting purples again. I don't think he's got his engine turned down at all. I think he's just going for it now. There goes Electric into the pits. Can Koikarp get back ahead of Electric? He's topping up with fuel now, as Koikarp only just turning onto the start straight. And Electric out, Electric out. He's just out ahead of Koikarp. So the rabbit and the tortoise and the hare analogy is that the hare is a little bit faster. There is Electric. Koikarp there in 8th place. Matt Psycho's just come out the pits. He's heading up to lap on Koikarp at the moment. Digital Blasphemy stayed out for a bit longer. Daz is into the pits now, but I just don't think that's enough fuel to get Digital Blasphemy all the way to the end. Skyjacker hurtling towards Daz. Daz just topping up with fuel as Skyjacker goes through the chase. And there goes Daz. He's on the move now, out of the pits. And he's put in 3/4 of a tank of fuel as Skyjacker goes across the start straight line. He's 4 seconds ahead of Uncle B Darren. Web Smurfer, he's on around about half a tank of fuel. I can't call this. It's all the fuels are different variations. Like Koikarp, he's on half a tank of fuel. Is that enough to get to the end? You've got to say it is. 11 laps to go. Electric's nearly 10 seconds ahead of Koikarp right now, but he's got fuel to burn. He can just go for it. And Matt Psycho, he topped right up, and he's heading towards a victory lane. 13 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy, but I still think Digital Blasphemy might have to make a pit stop before the end of this race. Daz only 26 seconds behind Digital Blasphemy, 14 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker, it's touch and go if he can get his car to go all the way to the end. He's only 3.5 seconds ahead of Uncle B Darren. Web Smurfer, half a tank of fuel, same as Koikarp. He's 7 seconds behind a UBD, and it's just awfully tight out there. So Digital Blasphemy, he comes in. He couldn't make that fuel last. I don't know, it was touch and go though. So Daz should get that position back. Although Digital Blasphemy, he won't have to top right up. Probably just, what, half a tank of fuel, possibly. A shorter pit stop, but as you can see, Daz now heading down to Murray's corner. And Digital Blasphemy only just topping up with fuel now. Daz, it's all about that first corner. It's all about Hell's Corner. Digital Blasphemy still not moving. Daz there heading up to the braking zone. Digital Blasphemy only just moving. There you see, it's very tight indeed. Daz just ahead of Digital Blasphemy. Skyjacker does have to go in and top up, so Uncle B Darren will move ahead of Skyjacker, and it's about Web Smurfer, isn't it? Web Smurfer saving that fuel. Skyjacker only he's not even at his markers yet, so Web Smurfer gets that position. Unbelievable stuff. And now Matt Psycho, after putting a lap on Koi Carp, has to try and get himself past Electric. And Electric lifting off, letting him through. Great stuff there. And how does that do the battle between Electric and Koi? Well, Electric's got 11 seconds on Koi at the moment, but Koi still having to fuel save, where Electric pitted and put in full beans, so he can burn through his fuel. Matt Psycho, 40-second lead on Daz. Absolutely cracking stuff. Daz trying to run and hide from Digital Blasphemy. Digital Blasphemy are chasing him down, but it's 2 seconds already between the two drivers. UBD, he lost a bit of time with that extra pit stop that he's had to make. Web Smurfer, 7.7 seconds behind UBD and nearly 19 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. So Skyjacker, he needs some issues to happen ahead of him to be able to gain any more positions. And Electric in 7th, Koi Carp in 8th place. But it's this man today, he's getting purples again. Matt Psycho doing an absolutely super job here at Bathurst in the VDUBs. And it's a solid drive from Matt Psycho at the moment, with Daz in holding on to that second place ahead of Digital Blasphemy. 2.3 seconds now. Daz doing a 59.5 his last time around. It's hard to say with Digital Blasphemy, as it was an out lap. We'll have to wait for the next time around. UBD crossing the line with a 2-minuter, no, 2:02 for Uncle B Darren. But Web Smurfer, he's done his fastest so far this race, a 2:02.1, and he's 18 seconds ahead of Skyjacker, who's on an out lap at the moment, but he's put plenty of fuel in. He really is going to burn through that fuel and chase those boys down ahead of him. We've only got 7 minutes left of racing, with Electric in 7th, some 14 seconds ahead of Koi. Koi doing a couple of 2:07s there. I think that was letting Matt Psycho through, with Electric on a 2:04. So the battle, really, the closest battle we have. Oh, Daz clouting the wall there. Digital Blasphemy, he'll be pleased to hear that. Gets it under 2 seconds after Daz having a knock with the wall. Similar fuel loads between the two of them. Digital Blasphemy can see his foe just ahead of him. It's so tight, so close now between Digital Blasphemy and Daz for that second place. UBD dropping back 20 seconds behind him. He's 8 seconds ahead of Web Smurfer, but it's like just one small mistake here can cost easily that. Skyjacker's closed in. Maybe there's an outside chance that Skyjacker can catch Web Smurfer before the end of the race. He's really closing down the gap between himself and Web Smurfer, so that's an interesting battle to keep an eye on. It's just under 2 seconds between Daz and Digital Blasphemy as they make their way around. They cross, oh no, they've already crossed the line. Daz doing a 2-minute .295, Digital Blasphemy doing a 1:59.909. So he is definitely setting chase on Daz, but Daz has pulled out some time somewhere. He's definitely getting through one of these corners faster than Digi. Web Smurfer, it's 10 seconds between him And UBD now is on only on a quarter of a tank of fuel. We've got 5 minutes left of racing. Skyjacker absolutely pelting it out there, doing a 59, trying to catch up with a Webb Smurfer. 13 seconds in 5 minutes, though, is a huge, huge ask indeed. With Electric there, still pulling away from Coy. Did a 201.3 his last time around. Coy doing a 206.1. So Coy has really got his engine turned down, I think. Matt Psycho, it doesn't seem to have his engine turned down. He's just pelting those lap times. Again, another fastest. A 58.698. Unbelievable stuff from Matt Psycho as he pulls himself 41.5 seconds ahead of Daz. He has absolutely destroyed the field today with Daz there in second. It's less than 2 seconds between him and Digital Blasphemy. Digital Blasphemy going for another push come the end of this race, chasing down Daz. Daz trying to cling on to that second place, and it's tight stuff between Daz and Digital Blasphemy. Then you have Skyjacker trying to push his car. Oh, I think he's had a bit of a spin again. Oh, poor Skyjacker having another issue. Got a little damage at the front, and that means Webb Smurfer can breathe easy again as he chases UBD down. He's only got 11 seconds on UBD out there. One small mistake and it's toast for those two. So Daz then 1.5 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy. Daz getting purples through that first sector, but Digital Blasphemy is pulling all the stops out to try and catch up with Daz, and it's getting very close indeed. 1.2 seconds now. Unbelievable stuff. Daz is fighting for his second place with 3 minutes left on the clock. That means it'll be this lap and the next lap, and it'll all be over for these contenders. Some of them will be relieved. Some of them, like Matt Psycho, will be like, no, I could do another hour. I was loving it. Look at him go. There's no stopping Mr. Psycho today. He's absolutely relishing a bit of Bathurst in the VDUB. Bug. But Daz there holding on to that second spot, 1.2 seconds ahead of a Digital Blasphemy. Digital Blasphemy trying to close the gap. He wants the points. He's chasing Matt Psycho down in the championship. Uncle B Darren there in 4th place. And it's a solid 4th. He's 11 seconds ahead of Webb Smurfer. And Webb Smurfer some 32 seconds now ahead of Skyjacker, who's been in again for fresh tyres. He's going for another fastest lap, I think. Why not? He had the position. He had loads of space behind him. He may as well go in, get fresh tyres, and see if he can get himself a fastest lap before the end of the race. Can he beat Matt Psycho's 58.698? And Matt Psycho, his tyres are a bit older now. I don't think he's going to be able to cane the lap time like he has done earlier on. Daz crossing the line. Only a second ahead of Digital Blasphemy. It's getting very tight now, and this will be their final lap. And it's tight as you like. Daz under immense pressure out there to try and stay ahead of Digital Blasphemy. Fuel is no issue for the two of these, although Daz's fuel has started flashing. It should be enough for a lap here at Bathurst, whilst Matt Psycho making his way around down towards Forest Elbow. And will he have to do another lap? I'm not sure. Racer Brown saying the pressure. It's down to 9/10 now for Daz. Unbelievable stuff. Digital Blasphemy is just keeping on that pressure all the way to the end, but Digital Blasphemy's had a knock on the wall, and that's given Daz a little break. It's 1.4 seconds now, and Daz will be absolutely relieved to see that time going the other way. It's been dropping all the way towards, oh no, he's back now. Daz must have made a mistake because it's down to a second again, and Digital Blasphemy applying more pressure, and maybe Daz is a little concerned for his fuel tank. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on, but Digital Blasphemy, he is relentless in his, and he's had a little knock. Oh no, and that's the end of Digital Blasphemy's efforts. He's 28 seconds ahead of UBD, and he's got the car turned around and facing the right way, and Daz will be having a massive sigh of relief and Digital Blasphemy gave it his all at the end there, but Forest Elbow really put an end to his, and yes, Matt Psycho got across the line, so he gets to do another lap, a lap of honour. Racer Brown saying, no, Digital. It was going to be an absolute storming finish. Electrics cross the line in 7th. As we see Daz coming across to grab himself 2nd place. Well done, Daz. You took on the pressure and you got the position. Digital Blasphemy will be screaming in his helmet, what if that bloody wall wasn't there, he'll be thinking. And Digital Blasphemy gets a podium. Take a boo, my son. Uncle B bringing her home for 4th. And he was ahead of Daz and Digital Blasphemy, but they made their fuel last a few more laps more, came out of the pits ahead of him. And UBD grabbing himself 4th place today. A Web Smurfer and a Skyjacker. How's Skyjacker doing? He's getting purples. Web Smurfer coming around to grab that 5th cracking run for the rookie. Great stuff. Skyjacker, he's going for the fastest lap. He came in the pits, put fresh tyres on. He's pushing as hard as he can. He's coming up to that final corner. It's gone green though. Hasn't quite got purple so far. Electric and Koi Kart both finishing in 7th and 8th. And here comes Skyjacker. Can he get that fastest lap? He's going into the pits. He put the new tyres on and he got the fastest lap. So Skyjacker manages to steal the fastest lap on the final lap there. And Matt Psycho finishes in the lead. I imagine he doesn't care about the fastest lap, but good stuff, Skyjacker. At least it's a small win for Skyjacker today. For you, and an absolute super job there by Matt Psycho. Pole position and the win. Nearly had all 3, but Skyjacker just pipped him at the end for that fastest lap. Great stuff. So close, so close. And like I said, Shiren might have been in that race. I don't know. He didn't come up on ours. He said he'd left the room, but I'm not sure. So I'll take you to the race results. I think I've saved the replay. Give me another. Are you sure you want to save the replay? Yeah, I already had it. It's because I don't think while I'm doing this. So there you go. These are the results. Skyjack is saying after that, I take robbing a point up from Matt. A good final lap. It was very close. He did a 1:58.6 something, so that must have been so tight. But there you go. Pat saying Bathurst produces yet again a great race. Oh, Matt Psycho, absolute league of his own today, out there in the lead, and he gets himself further away from Digital Blasphemy in the championship. So Matt Psycho taking the win. Daz gets 2nd on the podium with Digital Blasphemy rounding out your podium. So close for Digital Blasphemy at the end there. He was definitely catching Daz up. He was putting the pressure on, but Forest Elbow took him out. So Digital Blasphemy, take a boo, my son. Uncle B Darren, solid race for 4th. Web Smurfer, great for the newcomer, getting 5th place. Skyjacker there, he was having a bit of a nightmare early on, but he turned it around for himself in the end and got himself fastest lap in 6th. Electric in 7th. He had a different strategy to Koi Carp, and his one going faster. And more pit stops came together for Electric, and he got himself 7th ahead of Koi Carp in 8th. And in all of the chat, we see Matt Psycho saying, Sky, you git. Racer Brown saying, great racing from all parties. Skyjacker saying, lols, very close indeed. Pat saying 9,000ths of a second, I think it was. Oh, my Lord. Matt Psycho with laughing faces. Mama Psych saying, beautiful, Matt, great. Well done, guys. Super thingy. Oh, thank you. And Ryan Coyne saying, I tried to call red flag after being punted in the first corner. I know, but you need 3 people. Koi Carp and Electric. You needed Electric and Koi Carp to call red flag as well. You need 3 guys to call red flag. And Matt Sight saying, thanks all, that was great. Matt Sight saying, thanks thingy. No worries, I love it. It's my pleasure. So yes, the rules do state, Web Smurfer, if there is a red flag, you need 3 contenders. Because if 2 people just have an off, it's not a red flag situation. It's like if there's a few contenders, competitors been out because of an incident, So really, Web Smurfer, you needed Koikarp and Electric to call the red flag as well, and then it probably would have got restarted. Sorry, dude. And I never know what I should do. I think it probably could have been a red flag. I didn't see the incident, but I just saw a lot of you all bunched up in that Hell's Corner, and 3 or 4 of you off the track. But you were the only one that called red flag, and gotcha. That's unfortunate. Race was ruined. 3 stopped, and at least I gained a place. Skyjacker saying you can report it as an incident at Ryan. Yes, yeah, put it into the incidents, and people will be reminded that red flag if you're involved. If there's 2 or 3 of you involved in a first corner or first lap incident, red flags should be called, because Electric and Koi both redressed with Web Smurfer, so I'm guessing all of them was involved in that first corner shenanigans. I don't know who was at fault or anything, but it did seem like there was more than 2 cars involved. So yes, I'm sorry, Web Smurfer, but great drive back to get 5th place, it has to be said. Okay, well, that was your racing for Sunday evening. Hope you have yourself a lovely chilled night, and I will see you all again on the replays for the GT3 World Endurance Series from Yamigawa Miyape. Thank you again, and I will see you soon. Peace and... Oh, no, not peace and love. I haven't told you who I am. I am your broadcaster and your commentator, Luke at my ass. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Peace and love. Peace and love. Where's the button? Peace and love. Peace and love. I got the wrong button. I pressed the wrong button. That's why it didn't happen when I said it should have done. In the chat, Ryan saying, gotcha, thanks for the race anyway. There's worse ways to spend a Sunday. Thank you, Mr. Web Smurfer, and we'll see you next time. Peace and love. Peace and love. I'm finishing now.